What's up guys, Fred here, your best friend who will help you master Photoshop. Today I'm going to do something that many people have been asking me for a long time. I'm gonna tell you how I edit the colors of my artworks in order to give them some magical feelings. Wow. For example, if you look at this artwork, if the colors were not right here, then this artwork would be not interesting. Or here, again, if you had wrong colors, then it would be boring. When I create my artworks, the most important thing is colors. Not the effects, not the idea, even though idea is like pretty important, but colors decide whether your artwork is going to stand out and be magical or it's just going to be a good average artwork, I would say. And before we get into the colors part, I want to show you something that will change your life. Wow. On my website learnfromfred.com, I have added a 3-day free trial. That means that you can go to my website and then you can access all of my premium Photoshop classes for free and you can start learning. And look at all these stunning artworks, including one of my most viral posters ever. This guy here, this guy, it's not a guy, definitely. Sorry. One of my favorite topics, animations, how to create animated posters, how to create animated artworks, how to even create Instagram masks. Wow! And also, of course, 3D Photoshop. And also you get my full support on top of that, which means that you can just DM me, email me, and I will just reply to you, my dear friendsita. So now let's go to Photoshop. Oh yeah, baby! So I'm gonna start with this image and I will actually edit few images, and just to, help you get a better idea of how you should edit your images. So, and I will select this image and I will just go to filter and camera raw filter. So this is the #1 tool that you can use in order to edit the colors of your image. And if you have an older version of Photoshop, then most likely your camera raw filter is going to look different, but don't worry, it's the same like 95%. So let's start with what's going on here. First of all, we have here temperature and tint. And temperature just helps us to make things warmer or colder, as you can see. And tint is just to give it some greenish feelings or some violet feelings. But I'm not going to touch this, okay? What I want to do here is, first of all, I want to start with contrast and I want to bring it to -100. Remember this, guys. It's always a good idea to bring contrast to -100 because after that, you can do some real magic. So for example, look at this now. If I go now down to dehaze, and again, if you don't have here dehaze, that means your Photoshop is too old and you need to update your Photoshop. And I just push this to maximum. Wow, look at this. Look at all the colors that we suddenly see. The reason this happened is that, first of all, when we make contrast -100, it actually gets much easier to work with colors. Let me just explain you. If contrast is too high, as you can see, all colors are getting destroyed. It's too dark. The colors are basically too strong. That's why I make it -100 and then just pull the haze. You don't have to be to the top, but something like that would be fine. And if you just compare before and after, and I'm gonna click here, and for you, if you have an older version of camera raw filter, it's going to be some Y button. If I just click, boom. I mean, it's a giant difference. Come on. So let me just click here again. Okay, again to get them back to normal. Good. Now let's continue. Next, we have here, of course, exposure to make it a little bit brighter, but I'm not going to use this. Instead, I'm going to use this highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. So as you can see, it already speaks for themselves what they actually do. Highlights help us to make highlights lighter or darker. Shadows help us to make the shadows lighter or darker. And I would say start with shadows, making it a little bit lighter, because look at here. Let me just bring it here. You see, hair is really dark and you don't see much. But as soon as I make it lighter, wow, we already start seeing all of these nice details. The same goes with blacks. We can also try to make it lighter, but I don't think it's needed in this case. It's already light enough, I would say. So we can just bring it to 0. Whites, let's see. Yeah, a little bit brighter would be nice. Voila, already looks so good. Now let's go to the next part, which is texture. Okay, so texture is actually very important for every artwork because it gives your artwork some really nice feelings. For example, you see here we have this dotted texture, like really dots. Here, for example, I don't have a dotted texture. It's very soft and it gives you different feelings. Or here again, a dotted texture. So anyway, depending on your texture, the feelings that people are going to get when they look at your art are going to be different. And so let me just show you. If I make this to +100, let's just zoom in. Okay, look at her skin. You see how we get these dots? If I make it softer to -, you see, it's very soft. So now again, I personally don't like soft because when it's too soft, it feels unrealistic. It's almost like she's some kind of puppet, doesn't look like a real person. like in real life. That's why I want to make it actually a little bit higher, like this. Should be fine. This is good. Now we see the details. The details are the most important things, remember that. Now let's go to vibrance, and as you can see, our colors are already pretty vibrant, but you can also just try to play with them. So here the problem is that if I make this vibrant, actually the face looks okay, but the body is very yellow. Okay, and let's try to play with saturation as well, see if we can change this. Okay, so let's actually do this 0. So again, you just have to play with this stuff. We can actually change this stuff later if we really want to do it. Now let's go down here, and so I want to use color mixer now. And if you have an older version of Photoshop, then your color mixer is not going to be here. It's going to be, if you go to the top, it's going to be here, the fourth or third button, and it's going to be called HSL adjustment. Okay, so as you can see here, HSL. And what is this? So if you have been watching my tutorials, then most likely you already know what is this, but if not, then I will explain to you again. So here we have different colors, and here we can actually control what tint we want to give to our colors. For example, reds, we can make it pinker, or we can make it actually more yellow and orange. Look at her lips, and at the background the colors are changing so much. So I would prefer to make it redder, of course. Now let's go to oranges. Again, we can control whether we want to make them yellow, in this case it's actually green, or we want to make them actually redder. So this is probably too much, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of pinkiness to her beautiful cheeks. Yellows again. So here you can just go to the left and right to see which ones you like the most. And I will just go and quickly do this to see if I find what I want. So as you can see, when I do this, for example, nothing really changes because we don't really have here blue colors. I mean, you can see it, we don't, right? So that's why nothing is changing. Nope, nothing is changing. Nope. Okay, so this is good. Let's just click OK. And let's look, voila, a totally different artwork, just like that. That's it with this image. Okay, now I want to go to a different image and show you some other options as well, and also just practice so that you can see me actually changing the colors, so you can get the general idea of how you should do it as well. So I'm just gonna turn this off, and I will turn on this image. Let me turn this off as well. I'm gonna try to change this image. So the problems of this image are that it's actually pretty dark. And if you want to do it, like use it for fantasy, then you need to have some like blue violet colors. So for example, let me just show you here where I used it. Look at the colors here. You can see we have here some cyan colors. We have some, yellow colors. It's much more interesting, right? Here it's just brown colors. So if I select this, I go to gradient. I go to adjustment layers. Sorry, I'm going crazy. And then I go to where is it? Gradient map. Okay, and so here, if I just click here, I'm going to see different types of gradients, and the way this works is taking the colors of these gradients and it's applying them to the image. As you can see right now, we have white and brown, and that's why the image is white and brown. If you have white and black, the image is going to be white and black. So again, in older version of Photoshop, there were different gradients. Now I'm using a newer version. Gradients are very different. So I'm not going to tell you in this tutorial how to create gradients, okay? I will just show you how you can use them. If you want to know how to create gradients, you can just watch some other tutorials. So for example, I will select this one, and just as an example, as you can see, now we have here how many, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, and the same is going on here. So Photoshop is trying to apply these colors to every part of the image, but this looks wrong. So let me just now go here. So now let me just close this. Okay, now I want to blend this with the image. So I will go here to the blending mode, and I will go and see which ones actually look good. You see, when I change it, everything suddenly is changing as well. Let's see if I can find someone. Oh, overlay, that looks nice. Soft light. No. Fantasy style overlay. I think overlay looks pretty fine. If I just turn this off, as you can see, it's dark and non-fantasy. And as soon as I turn it on, as you can see, we see here some fantasy lights. It's very light and it just looks majestical. Let me turn this off now. Now I want to select this and go to filter, and now I want to go to camera raw filter, just to show you again what we can do here with camera raw filters. So again, I'm gonna start with making contrast -100, and it's already much better because we can see here different details. When contrast was high, it's very dark. Contrast low, details. Details are always good. Let's go to the haze and see if this is going to help us. Just pop it a little bit. It's fine. Okay, it looks fine. Not too much, yeah. Now let's go to exposure. I actually don't want to use exposure, but I want to use some shadows, make it bright. As you can see, now we see different details on this side of his head. Like this, please. And by the way, when you download the images, just to credit the photographers, you see here the names: Jimmy Fermin, Muhammad Thara Ibrahim, Ksenia Polodova. These are the photographers. So in case you like these images and want to find them, just Google them. Just write their names and write Unsplash and you will find. And let's see with texture what we're gonna do here. Actually, in this case, maybe making it a little bit softer is good, because here the texture is very detailed. We can see lots of different points here. So I'm gonna make it a little bit softer, just a bit. So good. Vibrance, maybe a little bit. And let's see. So yeah, I think it looks nice. Let's now go here to HSL adjustments. And here again, I'm gonna start playing. As you can see, when I add red, we already see here these pinky colors and it starts looking really, really nice. Not too much. Okay, this I want to go to plus 100, so adding green. If you look at this newspapers here, you see they're pinky, now they're greenish. I want to have something greenish because I already have red colors. Now I want to have opposite, basically something green.
Okay, like that. Let's see. Yeah, nothing really much changes here.
Okay, I think this looks nice. Let's just click OK now. So now there is a big freaking difference. Come on, you have to agree, right? So let me just show you the difference between these two, and I'm just gonna create a copy of this. You don't have to do this, okay? And I will just turn off this. Look, I mean the difference is giant. Don't get me wrong, these colors are also really nice, but again, for my purposes, I really need this type of colors to make it something really like fantasy style. Okay, now let's go to image adjustment, and I want to go to color balance. So here, after you have camera raw filter done, you can go to color balance in order to adjust them a little bit more. And this actually helps us again to adjust midtones, highlights and shadows. What does this mean? Midtones are basically most of the colors that you see on this image. Highlights are the lighter parts, shadows are the darker parts. And you can control, the colors for each of the parts, like the darker parts, what you want them to be, lighter parts, what you want them to be, and so on. So I'm gonna start with highlights, and I would advise you not to use midtones, because when you use midtones, you're basically changing the color of the whole image, and that's not what we wanna do. We wanna mix the colors. So let's go to highlights. So I wanna make highlights a little bit bluish. As you can see now, when I do that, you can see here these magical cyan colors, and here we also see these pinky colors. So it mixes really well. Let's see if I wanna add some magenta or greenish a little bit. Oh yeah, this looks nice. So I'm not gonna actually go and change the shadows because I don't think it's going to help. No, yeah, I'm just gonna bring this back to 0. Good. So now if I just turn preview off and on, you see before, after. I like this. Let's click OK. Wow, and that's it. You already have another magical colors for your artwork. Let's now go to the last one just to do it once more. This time, so whenever you do, you can always experiment. You can go with color balance, you can go with gradient map, you can go with camera raw filters. You're always going to get different effects. So I'm just gonna use one of the gradient maps that I did before. I'll put it here. And so if you remember, we already created that before. And to change it, you can just double click here and it opens, and then you can click on this arrow and you can go and change the gradients to see which ones of them actually match.
You see, we start getting some really nice effects like this.
But the problem here is that you don't really have much control when you do this. It's pretty much like you either take this or you don't take this, basically. I don't think I like these things. So I'm just gonna turn this off, and I will go to camera raw filter again. And this time I'm gonna go quicker, just to show you as an example, what I do usually.
So again, contrast -100, dehaze, higher. I want to increase exposure because the image is too dark. I want to have some lighter shadows and blacks. Texture a little bit, yeah, look at that, wow. Some vibrance, good. temperature. I'm not sure I want to play with this actually, because this is changing the whole image and I don't like this. Like, I don't want the whole image to change. I want to mix colors, so I'm gonna go to HSL and see. And also one more thing actually I didn't show you in HSL adjustment. Sorry, I forgot. Let me just quickly finish with this and I will show it to you. So here as you can see we have blue colors. That means that I can actually change blue. Voila! That's what I wanted all this time.
Yeah, this looks nice. We have some red colors, we have some cyan colors. I don't know why I did that. So yeah, so as you can see here we also have like saturation and luminance, not only hue. If I go to saturation, like this I can control saturation for each color. For example, I can make reds really vibrant, or I can make them really dull, you see. Now her lips are freezing. And let's go here. The same goes with oranges, really vibrant or duller. And actually making it a little bit vibrant looks nice. The same goes with yellows, nothing changing here. Nothing is changing, nothing is changing, no, but the blues, when you look at the background, you see it's changing. We can make it a little bit stronger. And luminance helps us to make the colors brighter or darker, basically. So as you can see, we have here brighter colors and darker colors. If I just do it, you see, it's getting darker. Look at her lips, are really bright. I actually like how it is, so I'm not going to change this. We can play with her skin a bit. Yeah, this is fine. So yeah, you can just go and play with these things on your own. And then I would just advise you to go and play with them, you know, to see what you can do and so on. And look at this. I mean, just look before, after. Come on, the giant is so big.
Come on, the giant is so big.
I hope you really enjoyed this, my dear friendsitas. Make sure to go to my Photoshop classes and start learning so you can advance your brains. I don't know why I said that. Love you guys. I know you helped me too. Bye bye.